Hello, welcome to the Mindful Life Practice. My name is Alex. I'm going to lead you through a practice today that is going to be a practice in Yin Yoga.
The Mindful Life Practice.
So typically, the majority of our yoga practices are very yang. They're very strong, they're very intense. And Yin is the opposite of this. In Yin, you will hold long postures for a long duration of time, and you're going to get deep into the muscle tissues. I find that when I'm really overstimulated, when I've had a really crazy day, sometimes this type of practice is exactly what I need to counteract that. So hope you enjoy. We're going to use a yoga strap in this practice. If you don't have a yoga strap at home, you can use a scarf, you can use a blanket, anything that you can just kind of hook around. It's going to be the length of your leg. Okay, I'm also going to use a pillow. If you have a bolster, you can use a bolster, or a pillow is fine. I'm going to take 2 yoga blocks. Okay, if you don't have yoga blocks at home, in the past I've used like hardcover books. I find that works sometimes. Or you don't need the blocks necessarily for this one. You could do it just with the pillow as well. But if you do have blocks, you're going to set up your blocks so that they create a little bit of a ramp. Lay your pillow along the ramp. Set up your sacrum so that it is at the base of the ramp, and then lay the back body over the pillow. Bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees come apart. Let the arms be heavy. As you rest in this shape, take a moment to feel inside. What have you brought with you to your practice? How is your body feeling? How's your mind feeling? Have you brought any lingering thoughts or emotions or conversations with you to your yoga mat? Just become aware of any repeating thoughts you might be cycling through. Bring your attention to your still body and bring your awareness to your breath. As you inhale and you exhale, can you drop into your energetic and your physical heart space in your chest? So the first ethical principle of yoga is called Ahimsa. And Ahimsa asks us to restrain against violence or harm to ourselves and others. I think there is a strong phenomenon of burnout in a lot of professions, and it speaks to the fact that if we don't recharge our batteries, they run out. So this Yin practice today is a practice of recharging our batteries. It's all about taking care of ourselves. And I want you to establish an intention around this. So maybe you want to embody an essence of kindness in your practice. You want to embody some compassion for yourself. Or maybe you want to create a willingness to more open and full love. So while we're resting in this still shape, I'd like you to identify and acknowledge that now. The Yoga Sutras states that the key to consistent practice in yoga is the awareness that we practice for ourselves and we practice for others. And in order for our practice to become fully compelling, we must be able to see how it positively impacts ourselves, but those around us as well. So I practice yoga because I find it makes me more patient, makes me more kind to myself,
more kind to others. So before we start moving, maybe think a little bit about why you practice. What does it bring to you? What do you get out of it? And what do you give to others from that?
Press through the palms, slowly peel your way up. Just bring the knees to a close. Roll to one side of that bolster ramp, so slide the pillow to the side. Slide the blocks to the side. Take your strap or whatever you're using as a strap. Slowly roll the body down. You're going to take your strap and hook it around the right sole of foot. Lengthen the right leg up to the sky. Now, if you feel like you have a bit more space, you might lengthen through the left leg, but you can also keep it bent and sole of foot on the mat if it feels a bit too intense.
We're forward folding at the hip joint here. Try to keep your toes spread, your arms and hands at shoulder width. Keep your top leg extended. Let your elbows be straight. Your tongue, your jaw are soft, and your back and your neck and your head are resting on the floor. Practice patience here. Know that it's still the start of the practice, so just go as far as you comfortably can into the posture. Don't take your deepest expression.
Take the strap so that it's in the right palm. Take your left palm, I like to use it kind of as an anchor on the hip. Start opening the right foot over to the right.
So your top leg is moving out to the side, and this is an abduction of the femur. In this shape, you are stretching through the groin and through the inner thigh muscles. Make sure the opposite hip is grounded and root the thigh into the ground.
Draw the foot all the way back up through center. Let's switch the strap so that it's in the left palm and draw the right foot all the way across the body, coming into a twist. Open the right arm like a cactus arm and send the gaze over the right shoulder.
So in this shape, the leg crosses through the midline of the body into a twist. And it is an adduction of the femur, a rotation of the lower vertebrae in the spine. Combine effort and surrender.
Right foot all the way back up through center. Let's take this switch so that we're now doing the opposite leg. So lengthen through the right leg, hook the strap around the left foot, extend the left leg up towards the sky.
So in yoga, we concentrate on both form, our bodies, our tissues, and formlessness, our breath, our energy channels, our mind states. And these interconnected aspects of reality are in constant interplay. They are the yin and the yang of life. So our lives are very, very go, go, go. be the opposite of what we're often doing, right? We're often in a yang mode. And when we practice yin, we drop into stillness, into silence.
Switch the strap so that it's in the left palm. Take the right palm, let it be a little anchor on the right hip. Slowly start opening the left leg over to the left.
I think the most difficult part of adopting a yin yoga practice, especially for beginners, is that we are so used to keeping our minds busy, right? We don't even stand in the elevator anymore and just stand in silence. We look at our phone, we scroll through Instagram, we look at Facebook, and so we don't often have a practice of stillness. So when we drop into stillness, when we force ourselves to do yin, we want to move, we want to fidget, we want to fix our hair, we want to change. And our yin practice is about keeping ourselves present despite this urge to move or to readjust or to start moving again.
Lift the left leg all the way up through center. Switch the grip of the strap so that the right palm is around the strap. Open the left arm to the side and take the left foot all the way over to the right.
Some students find this type of yoga quite boring, quite passive, quite soft. But as you're quickly discovering through this practice, it can be challenging because we hold poses for a really long period of time. So yin yoga is simple, but simple does not mean that it's easy, right? Like the two sides of the coin, yang cannot exist without yin, and yin cannot exist without yang. They complement each other. So our yang practice can complement our yin practice.
The left foot all the way up through center. Let's release the strap. Just bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. Slowly make our way all the way up through seated. Then rock our way up to a table. We'll move through a couple of cat-cow flows. So inhaling, just tilt at the pelvis. Lift the gaze up. Exhale, curl into a cat. Take one more of each. Make the way all the way back through center. We're not going to take a really intense, we're not going to be upright a lot throughout this practice, but we're just going to take one little down dog, bending through the knees, rocking through the hips, and then keep your left foot where it is. Step the right foot all the way forward. You're going to wiggle back on the left knee. Take the right foot over to the side, and either stay up on the palms of the hands, or maybe you feel like there's enough space to land onto the elbows.
So lizard pose. It's a great stretch for the hip flexors, for the hamstrings, for the quads. Incorporating lizard into our practice can help improve the flexibility of the hip and lengthen and strengthen the muscles in the legs. So since the hip and the pelvis area is the foundation of alignment in so many poses, moving our hips through their full range of motion ensures that your body and your yoga practice remain healthy and strong.
Lift back up onto the palms. Wiggle the foot all the way over to the left. So you're coming into a pigeon pose now. Right knee behind the right wrist. Right ankle behind the left wrist. And if your right hip is floating, you might prop the hip up with a block. You can take a pillow to rest the forehead down on the pillow.
As you fold forward, turn your attention inward. We tend to hold this version of pigeon longer than more active poses. So see if part of your practice in this pose can be to stay mentally focused once you have settled in. In the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali describes practice as effort towards steadiness. And in these extended and quieter holds, you get to explore this idea. Follow your breath as it moves in and out, finding stillness as you open and expand. If your attention is scattered, just gently tell it to come back.
Slowly start lifting all the way back up onto the palms. We're going to rock our way up into a table. So slowly just start wiggling your right foot back. And then we'll take a couple of breaths in a rebound. So maybe you come into child's pose. Just sit back on the hips for a moment.
As you breathe in your child's pose, feel the inhale moving through the nose. Expand and lift the low back. And then as you exhale, sink a little deeper into your shape. Inhale, expand, breathe. Exhale, release. Take one more breath in this posture.
Let's take this series of stretches on the opposite side. So lifting all the way back up into the table. Take the left foot forward. Wiggle the right knee back. So the first shape we're going to do is that lizard pose. So your left foot comes wide. And then you might be up on the palms or maybe down on the elbows. Know that one side might feel different than the other. My left hip is like much tighter than my right, so it's more comfortable for me to be up here on the blocks.
Part of our yoga practice is about tapping into our intuition. So feeling these subtle differences, because if you listen closely, the body will tell you what it needs. And so if I pushed and pushed to try and get my elbows down onto the ground, the body is telling me that it doesn't need that. It doesn't feel good. Let your intuition guide your practice.
All the way back up. Wiggle the left foot over to the right now, taking it across the mat for a pigeon. You can take a block and place it underneath the hip.
So this was the pose that I said on the other side. If you have pain in the knee, or if you have pain, if this doesn't feel good, just flip so that you're over on your spine, practicing with your leg crossed in the figure 4 shape. Okay, so part of the practice of Ahimsa is restraining against violence, not only to others, but to ourselves. And if you're pushing yourself into a pose just for the sake of it, you're going to cause injury. Ahimsa applies to not only our treatment of others, but our thoughts and deeds and actions towards ourselves as well. And we can take a look at that when we arrive on our yoga mat.
Slowly peel all the way up. Release the block, and we're going to roll onto the left hip this time. Come all the way forward. Place the soles of the feet on the mat. Roll the back body back down. Taking the yoga blocks, press through the feet
I'm gonna slide the blocks underneath the sacrum. If you don't have blocks, you can always use hardcover books. I like to use 2, but I can get a little deeper into this back bend. So know that you can also use 1. You can use 1 book, just elevate the sacrum a little bit. Whatever feels good to you.
Ahimsa is a gentle reminder to be more gracious towards our day-to-day struggles. The kindest way to care for ourselves is to just bring more self-awareness to our thoughts. Try to embrace and acknowledge how we feel with compassion for ourselves. Is there anywhere in your life that you can bring in a bit more compassion, a bit more kindness, a little bit less judgment, a little more empathy?
Push through the feet, legs up off the blocks. Just slide the blocks to the side. Slowly lower each and every vertebrae one at a time along the mat. Keep the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little bit of a hug, rocking that hug from side to side. And lengthen the legs all the way out on the mat, taking your Shavasana.
Connecting to stillness in Shavasana is connecting to silence. My teacher Rolf, he writes that stillness and silence form the backdrop of our lives and everything else is just passing through. Sounds come and go, sensations come and go, thoughts, emotions, all of them traveling through stillness and silence, like fish moving through an eternal ocean, or weather traveling across the eternal sky. As you land in meditation, your body carries with it the experience of stillness and your mind becomes silent. I become the sky that holds the weather. Resting in the felt experience of my body, I am able to give my full attention to the weather of my life, to care for what is coming and going with wisdom and compassion, to love what is just passing through. Ishkava mapulela, ishkava mapulela. Ishkavamabulela, 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 Ishkavamabulela.
Wiggle the fingertips and the toes. Lengthen through the arms. Take a big long stretch through the body. Take the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little bit of a hug. Rock up to your seated shape. You can lay the palms on the lap or take the palms into heart center. Lengthen up through the spine, relax through the shoulders. Seal our practice with an Om sound. If you want to join, we'll inhale, exhale, and inhale through to make the Om. So take your breath in, breath out, breath in, Thank you for sharing the space and the practice. May we all be happy, healthy, and free. Om Shanti Peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining and sharing the practice. If you enjoyed that practice, please subscribe to the Mindful Life Practice. Please subscribe on my website, themindfullifepractice.com or alexmcrobs.com. Follow me on Instagram, Alex McRobs, and The Mindful Life Practice. And I hope to practice again with you soon. Namaste.
The Mindful Life Practice.